Did you hear that, mates? Captain Jack just said, weigh anchor. Yo-ho-ho, good morning to ya. I be thinking as we set sail this morning, we should read us a good fine pirate tale. What do you say? Good morning and welcome to the Lumos story time here at the Lewis County Public Library. We are so glad that you could join us today. We hope that you enjoy this part of our summer reading program. Today's story is Captain's Bounty by E.G. Thompson. Now, she is a librarian from Iowa who sent me this story so that I'd be able to read it for our teen and tween story time today. I hope you enjoy. Aye, she's sittin' heavy, Captain Sebastian says, setting his spyglass on the mahogany sill. Likely 1,000 kilos each of mackerel and cloudfin. Aye, heavy and slow, sir, Left Paw says, licking and wiping his left ear. Should I ready her for pursuit? I wouldn't mind a nice cloudfin steak for dinner, the captain's whiskers twitch. Aye, Left Paw, proceed. Left Paw leaves the chamber and calls, Bounty sighted, all tails on deck, through a brass tube just outside. His voice echoes through the skyboat, bouncing off the metal walls from fore to aft. Soon his ears pick up the rhythmic footfalls of the crew as they ready their ship for what will likely be an easy swill. Captain Sebastian exits his room and climbs the deck, Left Paw close behind. Heloise is a turn-of-the-century skyboat, capable of great depths below the seaway when hatched completely, and great heights surface side when the levitators are activated. Sebastian caresses the rail with his paw as he ascends. His love has never let him down, and so far they've never been captured, despite numerous bounties on his furry head. Sebastian's lip curls in amusement and anticipation. Earworm, Captain Sebastian yells on deck, a narrow rectangle atop the skyboat. What's your position? The bounty is within range, shouts a scruffy tortoiseshell from the crow's nest, only raised when Heloise is skyward. They've activated evasive maneuvers and are charging projectiles. Then waste no time, fire! Aye, the crew yells, firing lightning chambers to rattle the ship's instruments and bludgeons to take out the engines. Sebastian is a self-admitted gentleman, so unless the situation is dire, he never goes for the bounty's levitators. That would be a deadly move, not to mention a sure way to lose the goods on board. No, his usual methods have largely proven lucrative, and so far, none of his competitors had been able to imitate the lightning chambers, making them all the more successful. The chase is disappointingly short, and Sebastian's lip curls again, this time in annoyance, as the bounty raises a white flag. Yuri, the pilot, takes their ship Heloise down and secures the bounty beneath with 2 cables and a clamp attached to a titanium arm. This is the most dangerous part of the swill, when the bounty could turn suicidal and do serious damage to Heloise. Sebastian himself takes the boatling down with his trusted swillers, a half-dozen of the finest toms he's ever met, and quick and tricky situations too. He checks his flare before they land on the deck, ensuring it's ready to fire should the situation take an unexpected turn. Heloise can detach in an instant. She's his skyboat, aye, but she and the lives on board are worth far more than his own life. We've opened the hold, a tom aboard the captured ship says, tails and ears down. He gestures to the open square on the deck. Unlike Heloise, the ship is solely skyworthy. The Alliance won't be happy, a tabby says, slinking out of the shadows. This is their fish, you know. For Central? Well, well, Anastasia. Sebastian puts his paws behind his back, not entirely surprised to find her here. She's always popping up in places he doesn't expect. Therefore, he's come to expect her. Hello, Sebastian. If you're here, then no doubt this is a little side operation of yours. What is it this time? A shortage the Alliance doesn't want the populace to know about? Something like that. Anastasia flicks her tail. I don't suppose you'd head back to Heloise now, would you? Forget you saw us? You know me better than that. Sebastian narrows his yellow gaze, which he knows makes Anastasia uneasy. They've run into each other too many times over the years for him not to know a few of her quirks. I'll take half of what you have. Mackerel and cloudfin tuna, if I'm not mistaken. Half? But half is more than generous when I could swill your entire hold easily. Anastasia's tail bristles as she says, Fine. We'll help you load it up so you don't take more than your fair share. Between both crews, the fish is loaded on the boatling in a matter of minutes. Sebastian's eyes narrow again, this time in suspicion. The entire operation has been a little too smooth, and the sooner they're safe on Heloise, the better. You know, one of these times we should actually plan to meet. For tea, perhaps? Anastasia says as Sebastian and the crew take their places on the boatling. I'd like to get to know you a little better outside of these kinds of run-ins. That would spoil the adventure and mystery, don't you think? Captain Sebastian pulls a lever and the boatling begins to ascend. Anastasia smiles and lifts a paw in farewell before striding away, hissing orders at the crew. They jump into action, scrambling to get their skyboat up and running, and presumably on their way back to the city. I know it ain't my business, Captain, Inky, one of the swillers says when they're safe on Heloise. But I get a bad feeling from that job we just did. The hairs on the back of my neck say so. I agree. Captain Sebastian orders the crew to stow the bounty, saving a fish for each cat on board for dinner. Then, with brows furrowed, he descends and heads back to his cabin. He twitches his tail absently as he leafs through the log, searching for other times he's run into Anastasia on a bounty swill. He purrs, realizing then that the goods he's swilled from her have largely been of the edible variety. Fish, powdered rations, spirits, and medicines. Coincidentally, very lucrative goods. If she's not supplementing Alliance goods, for a fee of course, she's at least supplementing the black market. A knock on the door announces Left Paw. Telegram, sir, he says through the woods. Urgent, he adds after a few seconds. Sebastian signs the log entry for the day's swill and opens the door. The telegram reads, Not a lie, stop. Alliance fish, stop. They will pursue, stop. Sebastian crumples the telegram and instructs Left Paw. Let the crew all eat the fish they want. We'll drop the rest over Lilliput in undertow. Aye, I'll be inside. Bring that cloudfin steak at 1900 hours. Aye. Sebastian stands a moment, paws behind his back, and gazes around his cabin. It's not large in any sense of the word, but it's spacious in a way that is fed by the imagination. At 1800 hours, the gas lamps ignite, giving the space a cozy feel that brings a smile to Sebastian's face. The gas illuminates the various brass instruments, barometers, and gauges of all kinds, giving them a happy glint. The mahogany trim glows warmly, making Sebastian feel as if he's anywhere but in a metal cave that essentially makes up his cabin. He adds a note about Anastasia's telegram to the log before changing out of his wool coat and breeches, navy blue trimmed in a yellow that matches his eyes, and into a linen evening suit. He may be a pirate, aye, but that doesn't mean he has to subscribe to the archaic stereotypes of his profession. Nobody does. Dinner, sir. Left Paw taps on the door. Enter. Left Paw sets the tray on the table, and Captain Sebastian begins to salivate at the smell of perfectly cooked cloudfin steak. But before he digs in, he asks Left Paw for a report. The remaining fish have been barreled and shooted and ready for deployment at your word, he says. We're nearing Lilliput and Yuri has lowered us to 1200 meters. Good. Proceed as you wish. I'm off the clock as of now. Aye. Left Paw leaves and Sebastian digs into the steak. He purrs as the first bite falls apart in his mouth. Cook never fails to amaze him. From superb cloudfin to magic with stale biscuits, Cook always manages to please Sebastian and his crew. Satisfied, Sebastian curls up for a nap. He always checks on Heloise around midnight, out of habit more than anything. Over the years, Left Paw has proven more than capable of managing most issues that can crop up in a few hours around sunset. Today, though, Sebastian anticipates a little trouble, and he'd like to rest a bit before dealing with it. Unfortunately, the alarm bells wake him up before midnight. Sebastian wipes his eyes hurriedly with wetted paws and slips on his wool coat. Left Paw meets him on the gangway. "It's the Alliance police, sir," he says softly. Sebastian growls low in his chest, and he makes his way to the deck, scraping the rail with a claw on his way up. Sure enough, there are 3 coppers on deck, with 2 more in their moored boatling. "What's the meaning of this?" Captain Sebastian hisses at the nearest one, drawing himself full upright and straightening his coat. "Have you any idea what time it is?" "Near midnight, I believe. Not that the time should concern you. You should be more worried about the allegations I'm about to press upon you. We have a report of an attack of a contracted Alliance vessel earlier this evening, coupled with several reports of barrels of fish falling from the sky." The copper pauses and searches Sebastian's face with narrowed eyes before returning his gaze to the small booklet in front of him. "Your vessel matches the description of one in the attack, and your current position places you in the vicinity of the drop-offs. Those were Alliance goods, you know. You're looking at a few years in the cellar, minimum. So you stopped my ship in the middle of the night because she looks similar to the one in the report, and because we happen to be nearby? I was woken up for this? Left Paw, escort these fine gentlemen back to their boatling. I'm going to catch a few more winks." Sebastian turns tail, knowing he'll be stopped. "Wait just a moment. You can't walk away." "You're welcome to search Heloise aft to 4, but we're all empty, I'm afraid. Left Paw, the directive, please." Left Paw hands the copper a tight roll of paper. He pauses just a moment before unrolling it and scanning the contents. Then he rolls it up and hands it back to Left Paw, his face grim. "You're lucky you have that. I don't believe it for a second, but I know when I'm beat." The coppers climb back in their boatling and start the engine. "You're on my list now, the whole lot of you. I better not see you around here again." "Good evening," Sebastian says to the coppers, turning his back again, relief flooding through him. "The directive is a forgery, of course, but it usually does the job. No one wants to touch someone who has been given direct authorization by the Alliance president to obtain sensitive materials by any means necessary. Still, they should clear the area for a few weeks, minimum, just to be safe." "Instruct Yuri to head south," Captain Sebastian says to Left Paw. "I suddenly have a desire to sample the seas around the Azores." "Aye." Instead of heading back to his cabin, Sebastian makes his way to the bow of the ship. He has to jump the metal rail and take the narrow ladder which sits between the windows of his cabin, down to an iron mesh catwalk and out to a small platform, but the walk is familiar and freeing. There, he focuses his yellow eyes on a horizon he can't quite see and licks his lips. There's still a faint taste of cloudfin tuna, and Sebastian smiles. The end. Thank you so much for joining us today, and a very special thank you to E.G. Thompson for sending us this story. We really enjoyed it, and we hope that all of our listeners did too. Please tune in again next week for another Lumos story time and our other videos that we'll be posting throughout the week. And as always, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.